So, all the other candidates have failed to become a film fan.
What happened to them?
Let's just say all the others were very expendable. In order to become Film Fan 108, you just have one task to complete.
What is it?
Take off your blindfold. Now, we need you to review Jason Bourne.
They made a fourth one?
Unfortunately, they did.
Wait a minute, why would they do that? The third was great, and an excellent end to a trilogy. Why the hell would they fuck that up?
Silence! It's time to review this film.
I don't know if I can do this.
You came to us. You wanted to be a film fan. Now you have to do your review.
What happens if I don't do a good review?
If you don't do the review, we'll kill you. If you do a bad review, we'll kill you. Either way, you work for us.
Well, I better do a good job with this, or I'll probably be going. Yeah. Let's start this, shall we? Welcome, everybody, to Netflix Nights number 29, where I'll be talking about Jason Bourne. But before we do, let's see what the good folks over at Netflix have for a synopsis for us today, shall we? Back for another high-stakes, high-octane thriller, super spy Jason Bourne plays cat and mouse with covert government agencies and terrorist rings while edging closer to unraveling the mystery of his real identity. Rated PG-13 and from 2016. And some of this is baloney, guys. Seriously. Edging closer to unraveling the mystery of his real identity? Spoiler alert, it's already been revealed. I mean, seriously, it got revealed at the end of the Bourne Ultimatum. What the heck is this about? I don't know. Some of that I don't like. And that's the place I kind of want to start with Jason Bourne here. Because, look, we had the Bourne Identity, the Bourne Supremacy, and the Bourne Ultimatum, right? And I look at those three movies, and they're great movies, especially the Bourne Ultimatum. I think it ends in a really great way, very satisfying conclusion for the Bourne character, for the mysteries, the explanations, everything. I thought it ended in a really nice way. And there's a lot of series that do this, guys. There's a ton of them. You have great third entries, and you feel like, wow, this is a really great trilogy. Done. End it there, right? Why continue on? It's perfect. And for a while, that's what happened. Bourne Ultimatum was the end, and it was satisfying. End of story. Universal started getting greedy, and they wanted some more Bourne money, and they were on Matt Damon's case like crazy. Matt Damon says, look, I'm done. I don't want to do it. Please don't. And they kept on hounding him. He continued to say no. And then we got the Bourne Legacy with Jeremy Renner. Now, come on, guys. That's not a good movie. Let's be honest. It really isn't. And it's clearly a cash grab. That's what it is. It's clearly a cash grab. And in some ways, you feel like it's trying to connect to the Bourne series, and it's just not working. It's failing. And you think to yourself, well, what the hell here? Why? Why am I wasting my time with this? And they tried to do a whole different franchise with it and make Jeremy Renner sort of the new Matt Damon. It didn't work. All right, it just didn't work. And so Universal keeps on hounding Matt Damon, saying, come on, we'll give you a lot of money, we will. And Matt Damon says, well, look, I'm not coming back unless Paul Greengrass, the director of Bourne Supremacy and Bourne Ultimatum, comes back. And then they start hounding Paul Greengrass. And Paul Greengrass is like, no, guys, look, we did it. Thank you, but no thank you. And they continue to hound him until they basically shove a shitload of money in their face. And then they go, hey, you know what? Why not go for a fourth one, right? So both of them came back, Paul Greengrass and Matt Damon, right? So you think to yourself, wow, at least if we have those two, there's a winning formula here, right? And they thought, okay, let's get this going. Let's do another fourth installment here. And that's where the frustration is, guys. It's where the frustration is, because a lot of these series, they do these fourth films where it's completely unnecessary. They don't need them. And you sit there like, didn't this end? Wasn't there a satisfying resolution or a conclusion? And then they're like, well, digging deeper into the history and the past, and, in order to talk about this movie a little bit, I am going to delve a little bit into spoilers, so just so you guys know. Now, at the end of Bourne Ultimatum, Jason Bourne finds out about his past, and he escapes. People think he's dead, or maybe he's not dead. Nobody knows. And Jason Bourne goes and basically lives his life. He's technically a free man. He's going to live off the grid. He's a free man. And he finally has the truth about his history, his past, and he's like, look, I'm done. And the beginning of this movie, look, he's fighting in a foreign country with people for money. He's generally just being a badass. He's okay being a badass. And basically, he gets dragged into it again by Nikki Parsons, played by Julia Stiles. She's been in all of them. She's in this one as well. And she's looking up the idea that there's going to be another sort of, agent program where they're going to send out these assassins and everything, and she wants to stop it. And with that, she finds out more of Bourne's past. And she finds Bourne to try to have him help her. And also try to help him recover more of his past that he doesn't know about. Okay, fine. It doesn't work, guys. It doesn't work. Number one, basically the whole reason this movie exists is, again, cash grabbing. That's it. Secondly, he has daddy issues. That's what he has. And so you're thinking to yourself, okay, this is why this movie exists? I mean, look, basically, we come to find out in the movie that basically his father started the program. He was the one that brought it together, and the government killed him because they wanted his son, David Webb, who basically Matt Damon plays, Jason Bourne, they wanted him in the program. And so he said no, they killed him, of course blamed it on terrorists, and he ended up volunteering for the program, and we are where we are. That's basically how it went down. And I don't know if I like that, guys. I really honestly don't know if I like that. I mean, look, I liked in the Bourne Ultimatum when the idea of, look, he volunteered for the program. And you realize that this guy came in, volunteered for something, and he wanted to be a killer. That's a huge revelation in that movie, and it's something that I really appreciated. You don't need the backstory about his father. There's nothing about that backstory with his father that really informs the past three movies. There's nothing that is like, it's not a revelation that you go like, oh my god, this shapes the other three movies and it's absolutely amazing and it blows our mind off the door there. No, it's nothing. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. And ultimately, that's not even why he started the whole idea of helping Nikki Parsons out in this movie. It's the idea of they're going to do another program and I need your help, etc., etc. Ultimately, the whole dad thing really is inconsequential at the end of the day. It really is. Yeah, it helps the movie in the way of he goes after him for revenge and all this jazz. It helps in that regard. But beyond that, that's about it. It doesn't really do much else. And look, I mean, I'll fully admit it. I think Matt Damon still does mostly a solid job as Jason Bourne here, even though I feel like he kind of is. I don't want to say he's half-assing it, because he's not half-assing it, but I almost feel like he's kind of sick and tired of playing the character, almost. He's kind of like, look, I did it. I'm doing this basically for money, and basically because the director I wanted came back on board. That's it. I mean, that's what I think. He still does a good job with Jason Bourne, and he's still badass. But, you know, I think the first three movies, I think, did it much better for him. You have Julia Stiles, as I said, coming back as Nikki Parsons. Her and Matt Damon are the only two actors to be in all four of those Bourne movies, minus, of course, the Bourne Legacy. And she does a good job, and I didn't really like it because, look, spoiler alert again, guys, she dies. They kill her. And they have to kill her in order to make way for another character that basically is becoming the new Nikki Parsons. And that is Alicia Vikander. She comes in and plays this CIA employee who is very good at computer technology and everything like that, and she is trying to help out Bourne, but she also there's motives and her own sort of reasoning of why she's doing what she's doing. Some of them are a little bit more seedy than just, you know, wanting to help him for the sake of helping him. And Alicia Vikander is good in the movie. She's decent. I like Alicia Vikander. I think she's a decent actress. Again, she's not bad in the role. A little dry. I don't think she's as good as what Julia Stiles was in these movies, but, you know, they had to kill off Julia Stiles because you can't have two people vying for that role, you know, of computer tech whiz who's trying to help out Bourne. You can only have one, and, you know, they had to, you know, bump off Julia Stiles. You also have Tommy Lee Jones in this movie, who plays, I believe, the CIA director, or one of them, and who also has a history with Bourne. The whole idea of starting the program and the whole idea of recruiting him, and he's part of that. But again, that's bullshit, because we have never seen this Tommy Lee Jones character in any of the other movies. Okay, we haven't. And that's not to say that's a bad thing. It's not to say it's a wrong thing. But suddenly this character just comes out of nowhere and he's the one that's, you know, behind the whole thing. Again, it just pops out of thin air. Like, why this character? Why now? Where was this character during all the stuff that happened in the previous Bourne movies? Where was this dude? This dude was nowhere. I just don't understand it. And Tommy Lee Jones does a good job with the role. I mean, he's still Tommy Lee Jones. I think he works fine, but it just isn't as dynamic as I thought it could be. And you have Vincent Cassel, who plays an agent in the movie, sort of an assassin, part of the program, who has also a history with Bourne as well. He basically, spoiler alert again, he killed Bourne's father. So, there's the revenge aspect there. And Vincent Cassel does a good job. He's really trying in this role. You sort of feel like he's bringing it his all to try to make it really villainous and a real badass, sort of a real sort of counterpoint to Bourne. He does a really good job as well. And there's a lot of other actors that come in and out of it. But, I mean, the actors, again, do a fine job. I think the plot is what lets them down here. And look, I will say this, the action in the movie also, the action is good, but it's not as good as the first three Bourne movies. Honestly, it's really not. Even though we have the same director coming back who did Supremacy and Ultimatum, I just don't feel the action is as good. It's almost like with the action, it feels like, again, the same thing with the acting with Matt Damon at times. It almost feels like we're not really wanting to try as hard as we did in the last three movies. It's almost like, well, we don't got much left to do here, so, let's just try this. Again, it's not terrible. Trust me, it's better than a lot of action movies do, but it still didn't engage me as it engaged me in the other three movies. And I think that might also be because of the plot, because I wasn't as engaged in the plot as I should have been. And this movie almost sets up for a fifth Bourne movie, and honestly, guys, I could really care less. I mean, really, because this movie, it just felt like they weren't even trying. Even Paul Greengrass, who's directing it, I just felt like everybody came to the table like, well, we'll make another Bourne movie. You want us to make another one, we'll do it. But we just don't care about it as much as we cared about the other ones. I didn't think the script was as good. I didn't think the story was good. I think the acting is still there. I think the action scenes are okay. I think everything's just okay in this movie. And look, this movie didn't light the box office on fire. It didn't do an amazing job like the other movies did. So I don't think we're going to get another Bourne movie out of this, guys. I just don't think we're going to do it. But it just frustrates me. I see these franchises and I see the Bourne trilogy, and I love that Bourne trilogy. And I look at these sort of trilogies sometimes, and I could name off a bunch of them, but you guys know it as much as I do. You have that third movie, and that third movie ends so perfectly, so fantastic. Everything is answered. There's resolutions, there's everything. And you think to yourself, wow, okay, they made something really good here. End it there. Don't continue. Stop it. And when they continue it fully on greed alone, wanting more money, not caring about the fact that you have something perfect already, that just frustrates me, guys. It frustrates me like crazy. And again, the movie's not terrible. The movie is decent. But I just felt like I wasn't engaged as much as I could have been. I think the father thing with Bourne, honestly, it has no consequence really for the other movies. You don't go back to the other movies and say that I've learned something new because of it. You really don't. The whole plot with the whole thing with spying on everybody with their cell phones and this social media mogul, it feels tiresome. It feels like been there, done that. We've seen it in other movies. It doesn't bring anything to the table, really. And I will say this much. One of the producers, screenwriters, Tony Gilroy, who was on board and helped write the first three Bourne movies, he was not here for this movie. And it really shows. The script is not very good. It's not as engaging. You don't feel like you care as much. That might be because he's not here. It's really tough to say. Honestly, to me, it was a disappointment. It really was. I think you guys still might have enjoyment out of it, but it's still not like oh my god, amazing. It's just, eh. And it's a real shame because I think the movie could have been really fantastic, sort of Bourne is back type of deal. But the revelations we get here aren't really revelations. They're kind of lame. And honestly, just forget that this movie even happened. Watch Bourne Ultimatum, end Bourne Ultimatum. Know that it ends in a satisfying way. Forget Bourne Legacy ever existed. And just forget they ever made a Jason Bourne movie. Just basically say, oh, yeah, I heard they made something, but I think that's sort of a fan fiction deal. That's what I think. I will say this, though. I still like that Moby song. I still like that song at the end of the movie there. You know, Extreme Ways. I like that song. So, you know, they had one redeeming factor. They actually brought the Moby song back. You know, not half bad. Alright guys, that'll do it for Netflix Nights number 29. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoy the content on the channel. Check out the Blu-ray and DVD out and about videos. Check out the movie reviews. Check out the other Netflix Nights movie reviews. The Blu-ray pickups, check them all out. If you like what you see, hit subscribe, and you will get more of it. Also, I am on Twitter and Facebook, FilmFan108, so check me out there as well. Alright, I guess it's time to check how I did. Let's hope I did a good job, and it's not curtains for me. Alright, let's go. So how'd I do?
You passed. Just by the skin of your teeth.
I'll get you for torturing me.
Don't worry. You're not going to remember any of this.
I remember everything now. And I'm gonna get my revenge.